Hi guys, it's Mr. Johnson. We're going to do a quick flipped classroom lesson on calculating slope using a formula. You might want to pause the video for a second if you do not have your blue worksheet. We're going to do numbers 1 and 2 together on the blue worksheet and then let you guys try some other problems after that. So pause the video, get that blue worksheet ready in case you don't have it. The slope formula is m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So our slopes are usually going to be fractions. M is just a letter that was chosen to represent slope. So M means slope. Remember, each coordinate has an x and a y. And so we could label the first coordinate on number 1 as we calculate the slope. We can label this x1, y1. And we could label 7, 9, x2, y2. Now we just have to group those numbers correctly into our slope formula. So to calculate this, we have m equals, on top, y2 minus y1. Notice, look at my y coordinates. y2 is 9, y1 is 2. So I'm going to take 9 minus 2. On the bottom half of the fraction in the denominator, x2 minus x1. Where are my x coordinates? Right here. 7 is x2, 1 is x1. So 7 and 1 will go on the bottom part of the fraction. So I'd have 7 minus 1. Now we just need to keep this as a fraction and do our calculations. 9 minus 2 is 7. 7 minus 1 is 6. Check to make sure and see if this reduces. 7 over 6 does not reduce. Also, we want to leave this as an improper fraction. I know some of you want to make mixed numbers. Leave this as 7 over 6. So our final answer for number 1 is m equals 7 over 6. If you need to go back to get the rest of this filled out, make sure you have number 1 filled out when you come to class tomorrow. Pause the video now if you need to fill any of that in, or you can rewind it to watch it again. Let's go on to the second example, number 2 on your blue sheet. Make sure to fill in number 2 on that paper. Let me try using some colors to kind of code these together. Again, you want to group your y's together because your formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So let's group the y's together. We could call this y1 and y2. Those are our y coordinates. We'll put the x coordinates in blue, x1 and x2. So as I set this up to calculate my slope, m will equal y2 minus y1. So those numbers would be 0 minus 3. That'll go on the top, 0 minus 3. And then on the denominator, my x's go in the denominator. So I'd subtract x2 minus x1. So we'd have negative 1 minus a negative 5. Now we just need to make our calculations. 0 minus 3 would be negative 3. Notice here, negative 1 minus a negative 5, you end up adding those together. So it becomes negative 1 plus 5. That would give us positive 4. Again, check to make sure whether or not this reduces. Negative 3 over 4, negative 3/4 does not reduce. Therefore, we can leave it as it is. Our final answer would be negative 3/4 for that slope. We could also use what we learned in class the last couple of days. I'm not going to do it on this video, but you certainly could plot these 2 points on a graph like the back of your blue worksheet has and count the rise, which is the y's, and over the run, which is the x's. So you could use that method as well. But this formula gives us a method to calculate slope without having to graph it. We want you to try numbers 3 and 4 on your own and have those prepared for discussion in class tomorrow. If you feel like you understand it, you can certainly complete the front page up through number 12. The last reminder I was going to put on the board here, let me erase this. Again, if you need to rewind it, you can go back and rewind it. You can pause it wherever you want to help you watch it. You will have some problems eventually that you get to. They'll look like this. You might set your slope up and get 0 over 5. Or you might get a slope of 0 over negative 9. In either instance, if the 0 is on top, it does not matter what it's divided by. We want you to write that as 0. We can simplify that down. You also might run into a situation where 0 is on the bottom. For example, 5 over 0, or you might have negative 9 over 0. That would be a situation where if the 0 is on the bottom, it does not matter what the numerator is. If you take 5 divided by 0, it can't be done. Therefore, you would have an answer of undefined if the 0 is on the bottom. Same thing here, negative 9 over 0 would be undefined. Okay? You might run into that on that blue worksheet if you go further than number 4. So for class tomorrow, you have 1 and 2 copied down. Try out 3 and 4 and have those prepared for discussion. And then if you want to go on further, if you feel like you understand it, you can try to complete up to number 12. The back side of the worksheet is just review from the previous days, and so you can complete that before class as well. But the blue worksheet will be due on Friday.